You're listening to the Rogers Waterfowl Podcast. This is Aaron Jones.
Chandler Smith here. Let's talk some waterfowl.
Hello.
I don't know if I'd want to join a podcast if I saw that, would you?
I'd be scared to death.
I'd
be scared to death.
Yep. If you guys are listening live, make sure our audio's good, but we should be.
Yeah,
we should be good.
If you guys can hear us.
I'm gonna
tune in?
I'm gonna dial it up here. Let's see.
Oh shoot, I still lean
Dr.
back
Duck
too much.
is live.
Yep.
That's good.
KP Prince, your ugly self is too close to the camera. What you talking about, Willis?
It's scary, isn't it, KP? Tell him.
You're welcome. You ain't seen nothing that pretty all day.
Back it up. Back it up.
Make little kids cry.
It could happen. What's up, Henry Norman? Hey, we fired up today. This is we took a few weeks off, 3 weeks or something like that, a podcast, take a break so we could fire up season 2 right here with you guys.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
And for these guys that are watching this guy's Insta channel, tell them who y'all are.
We're here. This is the Rogers Sporting Goods Waterfowl Weekend, and this is me, Chandler, and Aaron doing a podcast here at the call tent the Friday before all the duck calling goes down and the huge waterfowl event. All the duck hunters from the Midwest are coming this way.
The madness starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Y'all did gooses last weekend.
The goose contest was last weekend. We had the same sales and everything, but we used to do just the first weekend in August was our big waterfowl event. But it got so big, we had to expand it into a different weekend. Well, the only weekend a lot of the vendors could make was the week before, not the week after. So we went to the last weekend in July, the first weekend in August, and we decided to say, hey, you know what? We're going to have 10 days of sales.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Well, we're super thankful to be able to make it up last year and looking forward to a great weekend this tomorrow and Sunday.
It's a blast to get all the waterfowl guys here. I mean, you see everybody from all over. Everybody knows each other, too. It's just a big party usually.
Mm-hmm. And on the Rogers social media, I was telling David earlier that there's people that they started tagging us at like 11:23 last night saying they're heading out driving up here for tomorrow. Nice. And I thought,
driving through the night.
Exactly. So there's people that drive from all over the U.S. We get people East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, we're duck hunters. We're used
you're
used to driving in the middle of the night.
Exactly. I talked to a guy earlier that said he wanted to make sure there was an international airport close by because he had thought about flying, buying, and then shipping his products back. And I thought, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's serious.
He's getting it planned out, ain't he?
He is.
So how many guys we got in the calling contest this year?
Estimated.
How many events were we
I got to do math on the calculator.
Well, and some of the big ones.
It's that high, huh?
Well, I'm trying to think, like, if I really probably couldn't tell you, because a lot of them are probably going to blow in multiple. But let's say on average,
I'm trying to think.
We're probably going to have 200 plus.
Yeah.
Calling.
And we're giving away close to $40,000 in prizes.
Goodness
I think
gracious. You need
to
get in
it's
there.
more than that.
Is it?
I wouldn't even scratch the surface.
No, it's probably about right.
Yeah, it's about.
I think
40.
the total for both. I think we calculated about $68,000
for 2 weekends.
Yeah.
That's
I know. I need to quit doing social media and learn to blow a duck call.
We got a.
I guarantee you. I need to start practicing.
Yes.
We have an open new weekend. We have an open duck, and I think the winner takes home 5 G's. $5,000. Yeah.
That's
a good weekend of blowing a duck call.
Right.
Yeah.
We also partner with Realtree and on the novice contest, which why I like the novice contest. It's more the guys who haven't won one yet, and they're, a lot of times they're younger or they're just getting into it. They haven't won a contest yet, and if they win wearing a Realtree piece of apparel, a hat, shirt, whatever, shorts, if they got camo shorts, whatever, they win the Rite shotgun dipped in Realtree Timber.
Oh, yeah.
That's on top of their $1,000 prize winnings. So that's
nice.
a double bonus. But you got to be wearing it. If you win, you ain't wearing it.
Well, man, they got to wear it. They go in the store and get something to put on,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Timber could be Max 1. I mean, come on. Wear some Realtree. You got it.
And a great opportunity for some young hunter who, he's good on blowing a duck call, but a novice duck hunter, man. Take home a new shotgun for 2019 and get the season started right.
I
Can they still sign up?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's exactly right. They can show up.
You guys haven't won a contest above a novice. You get up there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
we've never won one. So
We've never been
we'd
in
fit
one.
right in.
Yeah, there you go.
So we've talked about in the past that this for us is the big weekend that really kicks off and gets us fired up for duck hunting. I mean, we're duck hunters, so we're always excited about duck hunting, but you know, you get that middle of the summer, it's hot, there's nothing to do, and you just kind of you lose your spark for, well, about anything really. But you know, this just gets us fired up because we're talking to people, everybody's eyes light up, the smiles come back, you start talking about duck hunting, and you just get like a little kid again. And this just kicks it off.
You wish season started tomorrow.
Oh, it absolutely. But
it'd be nuts.
I tell you,
we're going to be going crazy from now to opening day.
I tell you, I got excited as soon as I got here. And I stepped out of the car. The first thing I felt was the weather. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because, you know, coming from Texas, it's like 98 degrees with a heat index over 100. So it's just burning, scalding hot down there. So to get here and to feel this weather, then go inside the store and see all the products, the decoys, the gear and everything, it gets your old blood pumping. So it's getting me fired up, and I'm ready. It's ready to get started. So
how'd you guys do last year?
We had a pretty good season. I felt like we did fairly well. You know, we had to travel a lot to make it happen, but we made it happen. So
it was consistent. I tell everybody we didn't have a lot of big number days, but we had consistent ducks the whole season. You know.
Chasing them around.
Yeah, that's right. And we did have to move around a lot for it. But, Aaron, getting back to what you were saying, we're getting a lot of comments this time of year about gear. You know, people are getting they're getting their boats. You're talking about not wanting to do anything. They are starting to get fired up. And, you know, a lot of guys picking up new boats, putting gear in those boats. They, you know, new decoys. What hot new gear y'all got at the store this year that, you know, you think's going to be –
well,
it's a must-have.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we see all the new stuff come in, and at first I see it, and I must have it all.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that goes through my head.
You spend your paycheck probably, don't you?
Oh, no, don't talk about the paycheck. Yeah.
The advantage, I guess, the good thing about the last couple weeks is we're real busy, so we get a lot of hours, so you have a couple good paychecks, but it disappears. As soon as you start figuring out what you want for the season, they just disappear, and it's tough. It really is. And I don't know what we see new geese come in. I'm like, oh, I got to get those. And then you see new ducks. Oh, I got to get those. But I don't need it. I never need it. But gosh, I want it all.
You might need it. You never know.
That's exactly right.
So we talk about the decoy side of things. You know, a very unique one is the lifetime decoys. That's something that, you know, if a guy wants to put some money, I mean, because they're not the cheapest decoy out there, but they have a lot of cool features and they're just innovative. They don't have
different.
They're like an open bottom. They're not like a typical decoy. They're a different foam. They're a lot softer, a lot lighter, and it's just, you know, they have two kind of swimming keels. They're just, you got to check them out. They're just different, you know. So if you're wanting to see something that's lighter in your boat, if you want to cut weight, or just you don't want to haul it around on your back so much into heavy decoys. You don't need as heavy as a Texas rig. You know, all that stuff kind of plays into these decoys, and they look outstanding. I don't know if you guys have seen them or not.
Yeah, we just took a peek at them in the store. They're pretty impressive.
They're great looking decoys. But from last year, I think we talked about the XD decoys, and they're still going to be a pretty heavy hitter this year too, because we got some specials in store, and they're just good decoy. We didn't see anything really new from Avian X, you know, and Higdon did some resculpting, and I'm trying to think of any others out there. You know, Dakota came out with a different packable that hasn't showed up yet, but their packable mallard was hot last year because it's a lighter decoy. But for ducks, I mean, that one's the new one that's really buzzing. Do you think of any others?
Let's see. Higdon changed a few things up. Let's see. The XD black ducks.
Yeah, XD black ducks are new, but that's kind of a filler. It's not like a mallard. I've been thinking about mallards.
Yeah. I mean, the most revolutionary, I would say, for the year is probably those lifetimes. Man. They're different.
Yeah.
They really are.
Very different. So, but they're premium, top-of-the-line decoy. And, and then steel, I mean, I know heavy shots got some new loads, different blends and stuff, bismuth and different stuff there. I know Kent did a fast steel 2.0, which they just basically took their silver steel and their fast steel and they kind of made it just all around good zinc coated, good products, good guts load, and it's at a good price point. So that's a good load that's brand new. It's a 2.0 for the fast steel. And
speaking about ammo, I think ammo takes the brunt of the blame a lot of times. There's days that I've had a box of shells and I can't hit a thing. And man, this ammo's junk. And then I'll turn around and pull it out 2 days later and I hit everything.
Yeah.
I wonder, I think there's a lot of great ammo out now, but I think a lot of times it takes the brunt of the excuse.
I'd agree with that. That or the gun,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly, because I've seen guys that they'll take the rounds that I couldn't hit a thing with, and the birds, it just rains birds. And so,
well, you got to open your eyes when you shoot.
Exactly. But there's some good stuff, and man, clothing has gotten so much better since leaps and bounds. I mean, you've got the synthetics, you've got the downs, you've got the layering systems, and the camo, and of course, Realtree Timber got released last year.
Yeah, it's full force this year. Last year is a sampling. This year, I mean, it's hot.
I know we're talking about duck hunting, but my buddy's sitting here texting me pictures of deer that we got on trail camera.
Oh, man, what
When
a
y'all's
hoss.
deer season start up here?
September 15th for bow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You deer hunt at all? Big
No.
deer hunt? No, just waterfowl.
Just waterfowl.
Right on.
So it's I haven't taken a deer in, I'm gonna say probably almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's been a while for me. So
Yeah.
but it's just my passion's waterfowl, and I just every second I get I want to be chasing those guys. So.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Deer hunting's fun, but it's often solitary. It's quiet.
Yeah.
You got to be scent free. You got to
See, I'm out. You said quiet.
Yeah.
I'm out.
He's out. You can forget it.
Ain't gonna happen. Just if I gotta be quiet, I'm gonna be asleep. You don't see many deer with your eyes closed. I figured that out.
Nope.
It's been a long time for me too. We used to take the kids, and the kids have shot deer since I have.
Well, yeah, Dalton, my youngest son, he's taken a deer a couple years ago, but him playing baseball and his schedule, it's hard for him to get out there and hunt or do some hunting. But this fall, I'm hoping he can spend some more time with us, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He's trying to get prepared for the spring. So his workout will start here in another week. He just got through with summer ball. So here in another week or so, he'll start back hitting the weight room and stuff like that. I'll see if I can't drag him out of there and get out there in a duck blind with us.
Now, Billy, I know you're big with baseball too, aren't you?
I was not so much
Not
right
so-
now.
okay.
No, I mean I'm still a huge fan.
Yeah.
But I used to coach. I had a little league team. We took to the World Series, and I umpired a lot of high school ball, and was very involved with little league there in our area for a long time. But once my kids got out of the house, and I hadn't been around it in a few years.
Yeah.
Just still throw a softball around or a rec ball during the week, and just follow the majors. I like watching baseball.
Do these skeeters and no CMs make it feel like you're sitting in a duck blind early season, man? We should have brought a thermostat. I didn't think about
It ain't bad.
No, it ain't bad.
Come down
Feels
there
great.
to Texas, hang out for a couple days.
I'll bring a saddle to throw on those skeeters
They'll
down there.
carry you off, boy.
Man, there's some big
Yeah.
ones.
Uh,
Thing is, there's just hundreds of them. They just won't leave you alone. So, and it's terrible. And of course, our bow season starts, I think, right there in October. So, it's still hot. So it'll drive you crazy.
Now, when's your duck season open down there?
We'll start. I think our duck season opens up November 9th.
Yep.
So what is that? That's only about 2 weeks behind us, isn't it?
Man, a week and a half, not too
Yeah.
far behind us. But
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
usually still pretty warm here. It's got to be warm down there.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm telling you, we left today or yesterday was 98 degrees. And I think the heat index was a little over 100 there in Tyler.
What about
So,
when duck season opens? Is it still
Well,
pretty warm? Or
We
pretty
we
warm.
cheat. We're going to get a head start.
are you going up north?
Yeah, we try and travel. We'll try.
Well, we
I
got
don't know,
we got lucky.
October.
We got lucky again this year. We got drawn for South Dakota. We'll hit that, and then we'll drop down and probably be in Oklahoma for a little while, and then slide over into Arkansas, and then try to attempt to do a hunt or two in Texas. So we'll see where it goes from there. I want to try to get. We got a couple of states on our bucket list. I want to try to get a couple of those this year if we possibly can. Kansas is one of them. I liked Colorado. I like to try that one time. So there's some different states around that we'd like to do. It's just if we're just going to have time to do it. So we're going to try to make time.
Colorado and like Montana are two of my bucket list stakes. Shoot
Montana.
Montana. Shoot some
beautiful
birds right there in the edge of the mountains. And
we got to do it a couple years ago, and it was blistering cold. I think it was that day was when we
it was a 3-day high, like -7 degrees.
Yeah, it was brutal, but we had a great time. So it wasn't like we didn't want to go out there. I mean, it was brutal.
Mm-hmm. Texas treat you pretty good last year? Or?
We didn't do a lot. Texas has got to where, we had, it's either we don't have enough water or we got too much water. And so last year was one of those years where we had too much and birds were spread out. And, they get on the rivers, and when the rivers come out of the bank. And the thing with Texas, too, with our laws and stuff, even though the river gets out of the bank, it's still considered private land. So you still have to watch your P's and your Q's. So you got to be real careful. So that kind of restricts us too. We're not set up like Arkansas with the levee systems and the public grounds that you can walk in or you can boat in on some of the green timber. Now we got some places that could easily be turned into that, but getting the state or the federal government to step in and say, hey, let's do this right here for our waterfowl guys. Mm-hmm. We got the land. It's just getting the government to step in and help us out. So it's more likely that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we were down in Arkansas last year, and there's just the water, like you said, so much of it, and the ducks are just all over. Not really consolidated. And then we went up to Kentucky, and the same thing. I mean, the Mississippi was overflowing, and there's so much water
everywhere. Luckily,
kind of hurts the hunter.
Kentucky, though, we timed it right before a front, so we got there on a Friday night. Saturday morning, it started raining, and then it was pouring down rain, and then it switched to snow. So we were hunting
sleet,
timber.
snow.
Yeah, sleet, snow,
awesome.
And then snow, and we were hunting a timber hole and mallards in the snow. That was the first time I'd ever done that in
Ain't
a timber
much
hole.
Better than
No.
36 ducks in one day with the group. We were calling people to come out, because they had such a bad season. We had to start in the blind like 5 or something.
Yeah, we had like 5 people that started in the blind, and when the ducks started coming in ahead of that front, and then pretty soon it starts snowing, and the ducks, you just call at them and they drop. They just
shooting a speck out of the timber.
Yeah, we got a speck to come in the timber hole, but everybody starts calling their buddies and saying, "Get out here now."
Yeah. And so we went in for lunch, and then we went back out for some of us to finish our limits, and then we had some new guys, and so we had a blast that day, and it was so cold. Your hands are cold, but you got to stack.
Guns freezing up.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Those days, man, are some of my best memories are snow.
Are far and few in between, I'm telling you.
And we had some good days in Texas, but the amount of water was such that you might find them here, and there'd be X on Saturday, and you shoot them, and they go over here, So you'd have to get on the move real quick and scout again, because they ain't gonna be in the same spot next day, So we, like he said, a lot of moving around last year.
The water pretty stable right now?
In Texas, we're pretty stable right now, but the rains come in October, early November. It could change on a dime, and and just if the rivers are up and out of the banks, a lot of your ducks, a lot of your mallards are going to go to the rivers because all the pressure off the lakes is going to force them there. So it's hard to find them on the lakes, and there again, you have to be careful because of the private landowners because once you leave the river, you're on private ground still. So it makes it tough in Texas. So,
where'd you guys have your best hunting at last year? Which states?
No, I don't mind talking about it. We have
Washington's always.
Washington's we did well. South Dakota we did well. We did fairly well in Oklahoma and did pretty well in Arkansas as well. We shot the film 4 ducks there in Arkansas and felt like we did a pretty good job there. And we're going to revisit all those states again, and hopefully we'll have the same luck again this year. This year, we're going to be able to video more, so we're going to have more of a lifelike video with us. It's going to tell the truth of the ins and outs of our season, so more people will get bird's eye view on what it really takes.
Failures,
success.
A lot of people don't understand. It's cool when you log into Instagram, Facebook, and you see them stacks of green, but what happened all them days in between them stack pictures.
And a lot of our young guys, they just that's getting into waterfowl. They they look at all the pictures and they think, man, he's on them every day. But the deal is, I scout more than I hunt, and you have to do that to have success. And so that's the things we're going to try to show this year. So we're excited about doing that. Working with Realtree. They're a big part of it, and so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, nobody wants to post a picture on Instagram of just, one mallard and one teal.
No.
Nobody wants to do it. Now, I've had many of those days where,
yes.
you get one duck, and that's it. You
and
can't
nobody,
fill a game tote.
Yeah, and you don't want to talk about it either, but but it's just part of it, and not every day is, a dream hunt. But when those on public ground, when those do happen and everything comes together, then it's like you had earlier. It's one of those days you remember and you talk about from years on out to come. So that's we're going to try to highlight some of that this fall.
And we hunt a lot of public ground around here on the reservoirs and stuff because there's really no access to private ground for us that's close to where we can go other than maybe a Saturday or a Sunday at best. But I mean, we got to hunt more than 2 days a week. I can't sit still and not hunt only 2 days a week. So we go to a public ground before work. So we're able to, squeeze in an hour or two. And a lot of that, it's knocking out 3-4 ducks, between 3 guys. It's not the best, but we had a few days where we went out and we get
there, we get one good flight, maybe 2, and but we do it consistently. A lot of times it's every day of the week before work. It's 20 minutes from work. Get out there and take your best stab at it, get the guns up, get them hot, and then.
And we used to talk about it all the time. You don't know if you don't go. That one day you don't go, maybe that day that them 10,000 birds decide to land in your hole.
There was days where it was just me and one other guy, and some other few didn't make it out, and we've had some pretty we needed more people because it was hot for about 30 minutes.
But it don't take it. You probably on the phone with that guy before you're done too, ain't you?
Yep.
Hey, you messed up, Jack. Should have got your butt out of bed this morning.
I'll be waking him up.
Messed up. Usually you're the one we got to wake up though.
Oh.
He makes.
So
it
you're
out
a
there
hard
to hunt.
sleeper, huh?
He is a hard sleeper.
See, the older I got, I'm a light sleeper. I just can't. I get so excited I can't sleep. I've already started to wake up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning already, because I'm getting excited about the season now, and so kind of like I don't know, you finally feel that season coming on and you start getting really excited. So it's really hard for me to sleep. And
plus the pressure that you get on public, as y'all well know. A lot of times, depending on where you're hunting and what time you can get in there, I mean, you can't show up there an hour before daylight and expect to be where you want to be. So when we do travel, we don't try. It doesn't do us good to, work a few days, travel a couple days, come back, work a couple days. We try and get the work done so that when we head out, we can stay out for a little bit longer period of time, So you spend a few days out on the road, getting up at midnight or 2 a.m. to make sure you got everything ready and get to the hole, there ain't no, you ain't got to worry about sleeping in after a few days of that, Now, late in the year, that grind will climb on you.
Yeah, that's
By
a
the
fact.
end of duck season, you're ready for a long nap.
Yes. I'll tell you what, during that 60 days, it's 60-day season here in Missouri, I know that my coffee intake quadruples.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a coffee drinker, but mine quadruples.
Oh, that's about the only time. That's the only time
he'll be asking you when you show up at the boat, hey, you bring my coffee?
Yeah, the last couple of years I started drinking it a little bit, so it kind of gives you that little extra bump. But during the summertime, I can't drink it because it makes me sweat, and I can't. I mean, it's already hot, and then you're drinking hot coffee on top of that. It's miserable.
I must have something wrong with me then.
Yeah, I can't. Now during the summertime I drink sweet tea just like I drink coffee. Yeah. So I go from but even in the wintertime, you still buy that cold coffee in the gas stations now. So I a lot of times I still buy the cold coffee. So
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No.
I can't get on you for that.
Yeah, they got now they come out with the double shot. Now the triple shot. Now I saying they come out with so I'll be ready to roll.
I can't
be ready to find
I can't do triple shot. Yeah, exactly.
So traveling through all these states, what is Is there anything consistency you're seeing in your spreads or your calling or your tactics that you're seeing, or does things change from different areas as you move through some of the areas?
I would have to say it changes, and the calling techniques, the setting up the spreads, it all changes. And then and when you're going from different state to state, you'll notice guys do things different, and ducks react different. And the things I tell a lot of these younger guys is, man, you just got to watch and see how the ducks react. Don't be scared to change your decoys. Don't be scared to make changes, because that's the only way you're going to learn, sitting back and just continue to do the same thing. Because usually if the first or the second volley shy off and go somewhere where they didn't see anything, they didn't see something they didn't like. So making a change, because the third group that comes in or the fourth group can come in, they're probably going to see that same thing. They're going to pick it out. So,
and you could even drive deeper to say, like, some of the areas that we frequent, it'll change during the course of the season there. The later it gets in the year, the more the birds have seen. Obviously by the time they get down to Texas or Louisiana or even Arkansas and Oklahoma, they've been shot at all the way down from Canada.
Yeah, you guys do a good job of educating. So what I tell our guys down in the South, we got Ivy League ducks. They have a college degree time they get to us. They done heard it, seen it all. So we have to be on our A game, where you guys are, sometimes y'all getting those fresh ducks, hadn't seen much, just, y'all get the dumb ones. Y'all leave the smart ones for us to deal with down there. So,
and then by the end of the year, they're that much smarter. So there are a lot of times we'll be hunting one patch of timber, and we may go there later in the year, and you hit the call or set up the spread just like you did last time you was there, and you realize, hey, this ain't working. So hey, as soon as we turn them, shut it down. And maybe they work in. If they don't, you try something different,
So that's it. And don't be scared to make mistakes. A lot of guys, it's just kind of like deer hunting and everything else. You see that big buck walk out and you got a bow and you're sitting there trying to do this, and you're trying to make the wrong move or something. So you're only going to learn from your mistakes. So don't be scared to make them. So don't worry about the kills, especially if you're a young guy that's getting started. Don't focus on the kills. Try to learn something every time you go out so you become a better hunter, and the kills will always come later. So that's what a lot of things we try to tell a lot of younger guys. Because I grew up in the school of hard knocks. My dad or my grandfather, neither one of them duck hunted. So when I started out, I was like most of these guys on public ground. I didn't have a teacher, so I had to learn from the school of hard knocks. And I figured out when I was focused on the kills, and once I quit more or less focusing on the kills and I started trying to really learn how to duck hunt, the kills came later, because I started figuring things out. Wasn't scared to make changes. So that's one of the things that I think a lot of young guys need to start doing.
And I think that's a great point, because a lot of time everybody, especially with social media now, you guys know it, everybody's focused on the kill just for that next social media post, for the likes, for the the vanity numbers. And yeah, like you said, get out there and just learn it, whether it's fun or hard or whatever. Just get out there, learn it, and you'll be better yourself. And then
and a lot of young, some of the guys have been blessed that had a father or a grandfather who duck hunted, who taught them the ropes, and and they had a chance to learn from their dad or their grandfather. But a lot of these young guys that's getting into waterfowl, I think waterfowl is coming back. I do think it's growing. So a lot of these guys that's learning this, I just want our industry to embrace that and help these guys grow and become better duck hunters, so we can just pass it on down to the next. Because that's the thing we talk about. We want to pass it down to the next generation. Well, it doesn't have to be your immediate family to pass it on down to, man. If you're a guy that has a chance to hunt with somebody that's younger, and you can see that they're really green, and man, if you can open up your door and invite that kid in and let him hunt with you, you just don't know how many generations you might have passed this duck hunting down to.
Yeah, that's awesome. We talked about, I think, the last podcast, but I have a lot of gear that I don't throw away or I don't sell because of the other hunter, because of my buddy. I have some friends who don't duck hunt, but they always talk about, man, that'd be cool. And I was like, you tell me, I'll call you, you'll show up at my house, and you just stay there, and I'll give you your waders, your jacket, your gun, your shells. Just follow along. I'll tell you what to do. They don't have to do nothing, don't have to buy nothing. And I enjoy that. I got old waders that don't leak yet, and I got an extra shotgun and then the gun safe, and I got as much waterfowl ammo I can shake a stick at. I have too much. I don't ever shoot enough. And it's just great to get one of those guys who would love to do it, but they're just, they don't have it all. And it's a big thing to try to get it all at once and start doing it. But you got to start small. But then when you can go with someone like that, and I like to get them the whole outfit, and then they get hooked. And then they're asking you the next day what waders you should buy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you're like, all right.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy. And, you just didn't get him hooked. His future family or his immediate family, his cousin, you never know who he brings out. More of his friends come out. Hey, you got to come try this. So there's room for him. I feel like if you watch the licensing sales for duck hunting, and you probably watch those numbers, we don't really have a lot. It might seem like a lot when we hunt these public grounds. You're probably rubbing elbows with a guy. But we don't have a lot, and we need this industry to grow. And the only way we can make it grow is open up the doors and accept these guys in and teach them the right way, the ethics of it too as well. There's nothing wrong, and I was telling me and Billy, we talk about it a lot. There's nothing wrong if you see a buddy or your neighbor over there working in a group of mallards, and you got this single teal or a group of teal that come in and just land your decoys. A lot of times we don't even shoot at the teal. It's not because we're mallard purists. It's just that we want to respect our neighbor. See if they can get those mallard duck in. They're sitting over there, they're working really hard. You can hear them blowing, and they're giving everything they got to get those birds in. Sometimes it's fun for me and him just to sit there and watch and see if they can do it or not. So, it's just one of those things that, if we could just pass that stuff on down, I think it makes everything a little better. Mm-hmm. So.
And another thing, too, is I think the more people you get involved, the more money goes into conservation, the more money that goes into, the organizations, Delta Waterfowl, Ducks Unlimited, the more the conservation efforts they can do, the better the species is going to be, the better the hunting's going to be in the long run. So it's not like you're going to hurt anything by getting more people involved. It's just more money for the organizations that are helping waterfowl.
Well, at some point with the amount of I read some numbers that I don't know if it's through DU. It may have been through I think it was through the DU website. They did a story, and I researched the numbers that they provided online. They offered some reference stuff. And, the amount of people that are not supportive of hunting, they tremendously outnumber the amount of people that not just are supportive of hunting, but obviously that actually do it. They outnumber both of those groups by big. And if you want to have impact, like you're talking about, the greatest impact you can have is to get more people involved, because if you don't do it now, you don't start working on that now, where will the industry be 25, 30 years from now? And Justin Martin, great dude. And we've had a couple chances to sit down with him, and he says it best, talking about hunting, being it's self-funded. The people that are involved with it are the people that are funding it. So to your point, that's one of the greatest impacts we can have is share this great sport and the passion with other people and get them engaged.
And listen, the other side, they have a great plan. It's divide and conquer. So if they can get us fighting amongst ourselves, then they're winning. And then so the thing is one of the things that we need to do is stay together, stick together, and then we can send one big voice that says, hey, we're going to stand our ground, and then. And one of those things is when these young guys come in, we got to open up the door, because that's the impression that we got. So if we're closing the door on one guy, and he goes to the other side, then we just lost a guy. So
well, I think I've said it before on other podcasts. Is you're exactly right. We got to stick together, and even again too, it's social media. Since I deal with that, it seems like I can relate everything to it. But even dragging other hunters or knocking them down or insulting them, or everybody's a keyboard warrior. Well, we need to knock that crap off. We're all in it together.
It's terrible.
It is.
And I guess while that's coming out of my mouth, I see some people that are followed on Instagram that are making a conscious effort to change that. But man, some of these Facebook groups and I can't stand to be a part of a lot of that stuff, because you got such a large number of people who are like, what'd you call them? Keyboard
warriors.
Keyboard
warriors. I don't know this guy. I don't know what he looks like, but my mom taught me to keep my mouth shut if I ain't got nothing good to say. These guys, they just bam, man, just pour it on right there for what reason? I don't.
Feel
why
better
you want
about themselves, I guess.
I don't know. I just don't understand trying to make somebody who's
They're
maybe
trying.
they don't know what they're doing. maybe they suck really bad at doing it. They're new to it, and if nobody takes them under their wing and shares knowledge and helps them get better at it, what else you going to expect?
They'll get discouraged and they'll quit, and then guess what?
That's
You
right.
lost
Especially
someone
if
that
you
could
got
have
the
spent how many
keyboard dude
thousands
beating
of
them up.
dollars
Yeah,
on
we got to give
and funded.
confidence.
I mean, you buy your duck stamps, you buy your license, your tag. I mean, all that goes back into it.
That's right. So, and that's what the other side wants, and that's they instigate it. I promise you, they find ways to come in there and create havoc in any way or any foothold they can get on us and divide us. That's what they're going to do. So,
it's crazy the stuff that people say to other people. I can't. I don't know where they come up
my
with
deal is if you got guys that's hunting too close, if that's the number one complaint that I hear or see. Me and Billy said it all in season 1 podcast. Invite those guys to come hunt with you, and if they don't, hey, that's just one day. So try to work together. If the ducks fly their way, let them try to work them. They come back your way. Hopefully they'll respect you and let you try to work them into your spread. If you're too close together, just make sure you don't shoot that direction. There's things that we can do. A lot of guys just don't understand, but we can make it better. And so if we do those things and make public ground a better place to be, I think this sport can even get bigger than what it is. Because like I said earlier, I do think it's growing. And I do think a lot of young guys are getting to where they like this sport. And I think it's because I think y'all's generation and younger, they like being out with a group of guys. Mm-hmm. And they like hanging out with their buddies, and it's the conversation that goes on. They like joking and playing and horsing around. So I think that's one of the things that separates duck hunting from any other hunting sport. It's, you kind of compare it to golf. A lot of business decisions are made on a golf course. And I think, it's getting to where it is in the duck hole, So, a lot of college guys, they realize they hang out in the classroom or on the football field or the baseball field, and they go and do the same thing in the duck blind. They still get to hang out together and have fun, so.
Pick at each other
and have fun doing it.
Yeah,
you guys don't do that, do you?
Oh, it's all the time. It's all the time. When the thing is with me is, over the years, the thing with me is, I was a football player in high school, and I'm pretty competitive, and I'm competitive out there as well. But I keep it under a respect thing. So I hate losing volleys. I hate shooting long shots and losing ducks. So if somebody's sticking out, I will say something. Billy will be the first one. He gets the bunt of the deal because he might not be sticking out.
Might not be. I ain't never sticking out.
No, he sticks out sometimes.
I'm invisible.
But I chew him out, so the rest of the guys in the group are like, hey, maybe it's us sticking out, or maybe it gets a light on. Maybe I need to tuck in a little tighter. You know what I mean?
So I pretty much get tail whooping every time we're hunting with somebody else.
Who's that? Bobby,
oh,
probably.
Yeah.
We got a guy like that.
Right, he's usually sticking out.
Well, yeah, he usually is.
And with up here, I don't know, but down there, they're just well educated. Like I said, they're Ivy League ducks, and there's no doubt about it. They're looking to see one thing that's wrong, and once they see it, and they don't have the confidence to come in, it's hard to convince them to come in. It is what it is. Up here, I feel like you're probably allowed to make a few mistakes and live through it, and probably get a few of them ducks in. But down south, it don't work that way. So
how long have you guys been hunting together? I feel like we asked you that last year. Maybe we didn't.
One more year than we were last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. We tried to figure out the exact date. JB was it was like one of his really early birthdays when we met, and we started hunting together that year. So it's 20 something years. But
it's over 20. So, but we hit it hard. So
it
we
feels
enjoy
like 80.
We enjoy the chase. In our younger life, we wasn't able to travel as much. We was young, had jobs, family was young. So as now, we got a little older. My son's going to be a senior. That's my youngest one. He's got an empty nest over there. So we're able to travel more now. So it kind of opens up the window for us to do that. So it's been a lot of fun the last few years because of that.
Awesome. Yeah.
What's your favorite place you're looking forward to going this year, duck hunting?
I would, man, I love, Washington is a private land hunt for us, but it's kind of also like a vacation. I get to take my wife there. We enjoy it. It's kind of a lodge, but there's just hundreds and thousands of ducks, it seems like. There's like duck tornadoes in just about every field. So it gets to go see there and see the numbers. It's not necessarily the hunts are great and awesome, but just to see the number of ducks is amazing to me. I love going and seeing them. It's pretty encouraging to see those numbers. It lets me know that we definitely got a future in waterfowl to see those numbers. So that's one of my favorite trips. And of course, Arkansas Green Timber is another one. Of course, Texas. I mean, when the rivers get out, and you know where to go. The Green Timber there can be just as good as Arkansas. You know,
I'm fired up. We got a good group of guys that got in on the draw with us this year, South Dakota. So, you know, that'll be the first time we get to pull the trigger. So I'm pretty fired up about that trip there. They give us 10 days, so that give you enough time. If it don't start off right, you can make an adjustment and a move and do what you can to get on them, you know, and I'm pretty fired up about that hunt this year.
You know, South Dakota's a little different than any other state. You know, you got to put in for a draw. Then you got to get drawn. And once you get drawn, you get 10 days. That's it. So once you're a 10-day start, I think you can do 5. And then you can do all 10 consecutive, or you can divide it up into 2 5-day trips. But you get 10 days per season.
Missouri just came out, and I just got an email about it. They've redone some draw rules, which is actually better for the hunter. And before season, you can do, like for these reservations, you know, Bob Brown, Grand Pass. I don't know if Bob Brown will be up and running.
That's what's crazy, too. I won't speak much to the new draw because I haven't read anything on it, but there's a lot of our conservation areas that are along the river systems that are just, they got no levees, they've washed away. So
buildings underwater. So we'll figure out which ones are up and running, but the new draw system you can put in at the beginning of the year, and you can get your guaranteed days to hunt at these places, and you put in for a draw, and that's great. And then there's also weekly now that I think is new that you can put in for the same thing. And then there's the pour line or whatever. You can show up that day and see, and if you can get drawn, you know. And so there's those all 3 things. So that's something better that they haven't done. I don't think they've done the week one in the past. You can't jump in and get one for that week. I don't know if that was something that we did in the past. But then also every place is going to be the same as far as one party draws a pill instead of some places where everybody in the party, some places was one person. You know, it was kind of a mix between the places. Now they went to all one way. But now before season, you can get some really, really good days and some really, really great hunting, and it's guaranteed you're in. And it's really, really great hunting for people who want to get an opportunity to hunt some great days, you know, great ducks. You know, they have the refuges, they manage, they do all this stuff. Get in on that early season draw, and a lot of people get drawn for good places and good days. And you could put in, I think, what places you want to hunt at if you don't want to drive, you know, 8 hours to the southern Boot Hill, or if you're up here, or vice versa. You can put in for the certain ones you're looking into.
Is that in-state guys, or is that out-of-state, include out-of-state guys as well? Or you got to be in-state only?
Man, if I had that email up,
I would say that I honestly didn't read it, so I can't speak to it. You can research on your phone, pull it up.
I probably can find that email actually real fast.
I know that I briefly just kind of looked at it, and everybody I've talked to said it is going to be better for most hunters. So I'm going to take their word for it and say, because I know there's a lot of places that one of them that I don't even know if will be open this year. One, because I think a lot of the levees broke along the Missouri River, and it was underwater. It's still underwater. So obviously it's not getting planted. If levees are broke, I mean, it's going to be a mess. So a lot of those places on weekend days, you would go up there, and they may hunt, 25 parties. Well, there'd be 50 parties show up. So 25 were going to get turned away. So it was tough.
So if you're one of those groups that get turned away, what do? You just go drink coffee somewhere and chalk it up for the day?
Or try and hit up another conservation area and hope that.
In Missouri, we're blessed that if that happens, you get on your Onyx, or you talk to some people there, say, where do I go next? And they'll say, this lake right over here. It's maybe not as banging as this area right here, but you can go over there and shoot some. Or you could drive a little bit farther and go to this marsh that's maybe not a draw. Or you can go a little bit farther to this lake and hunt this. There's some options. A lot of people, when they don't get drawn, they're plan B. And you can either have a plan B before you go, or a lot of guys will tell you, there's some places. And there's also some places, and like Nottoway has like a walk-in. So there's this section is draw, so you get the either preseason reservation or that week at reservation, or the pour line. But if you don't do any of that, now it's a foot race to the walk-in area. But so there's a lot of options out here, and I think we're blessed with the public ground we get to work with, for sure.
And usually a lot of the public ground too, they'll plant it. They'll have local farmers plant it, harvest it. So, but there's a lot of stuff in the river bottoms this year that never got planted. They were either underwater, still underwater, and or just, I would say, dried up to the point where you don't see standing water. But it'll be interesting to see, how we hold ducks this year. Before, I know a lot of guys down south would say, you duck farmers up there, you're planting and holding, and the ducks stay up there all season or 30 or 60 days. Well, man, I don't know. Obviously, there's still farmers that planted fields, but not in the bottoms like they used to. So we may have ducks for 2 days. We may have ducks for 20 days. I don't know.
So I got a little insight from the conservation. And last Sunday, I took a bow hunter's ed course, which is great because now some states require bow hunter's ed if you want to go hunt elk. So I got that course done. You don't have to have it in Missouri, but I took the class, which is tons of information. I think anybody should take the course because you get to sit in a room with a bunch of hunters, all get along, and then you get to ask the conservation all sorts of questions, and you get to learn about stuff. And he was talking about how, up along this Missouri River, we might not have corn planted everywhere, but he said the amount of smartweed and the natural stuff was just everywhere. Just all this natural habitat that the farmers are always, getting out of there so they can plant corn is just blowing up everywhere. So he says, we're probably going to have some food. I might have told everybody that just listening. But a lot of people talked about we won't get to plant as much because some of this bottom ground's covered in water, but he was saying that the natural habitat coming up because all this flood water is just going to be awesome for ducks, and I'm excited to see it.
Well, hey, yeah, I figured there was some natural, just volunteer vegetation that would come up, but not to that extent. So if he's excited about it, that's good.
Yeah, he was excited about it because we were talking about that in we were talking bow hunting class. We were talking about duck hunting.
There you go.
You can always find it. Man, this weather's too nice. This breeze is nice up here.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. As soon as I got out of the car, I felt it, and I was like, wow. That's the first thing I noticed was the weather. It's nice.
I wish I could take credit for it. I wish I could. So I'm trying to think. You guys obviously have your social media channels. What are those so people can follow you guys?
You can follow me, Dennis Loosier, Dr. Duck, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. So we're on all those pages.
And YouTube, anything like that?
Yes, we got Dr. Duck YouTube as well. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you left one
right.
off.
No, it's good. And Dennis talked earlier about the opportunities that we're going to have this year. A lot of people that follow Realtree have probably seen some of the 365 stuff. Right now,
I got to see some of that this weekend. It looked cool.
It's it's really it's cutting edge. I mean, a lot of times like for me, I don't watch a lot of TV. Obviously, during duck season, we're busy, but when you get out of duck season, even I'm just not a TV guy, and I kind of watched my kids and picked up on some of the YouTube stuff. I got Amazon Prime and Apple TV, and that's how if I'm going to watch something besides baseball, I have MLB.TV on my Apple TV. So really all I watch is every night I go to bed, I watch a baseball game. If I do find something else that I think that'd be fun to watch, a movie or a series, I'm going to do it on one of those digital channels. What Realtree's doing is super cool. And we've got an opportunity this year. The guys that are following us around, that's going to, everybody say, hey, where do we watch this or where do we watch you guys? They're going to be able to find us on Realtree 365. So, they're going to have Waterfowl TV
and
this season.
I was going to see all the deer hunting on there already.
Deer hunting's populating.
Cooking stuff coming up, too.
Cooking stuff.
Yeah.
Culpepper and those guys I think it's really fun following them, watching them chase turkeys. The spring thunder stuff's on there, and we're going to add Dr. Duck Waterfowl to the 365 stuff this season. So anytime during the year, people will,
Well, it's going to be a weekly episode, a new episode every week, good, bad, or ugly. It's going to be on there.
It's going to be there.
It's going to be there.
We don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be there.
There's no rewind, retakes, or anything like that, or no commercials to bail you out. There's no commercials on this thing. So it's going to tell the truth. And so I want to take advantage of it. I want our guys to know, or young guys to know, how we do things and what drives us to have success, and when we don't have success, what some of the things that we do to
fix it.
And we always
like
fix
fire
it.
the scout.
No, well, I let him scout for me one time last year, and then we had a little meeting about that one.
A meeting. I don't know about one time.
But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So it's a lot of pressure. I feel like a little bit, but because I'm not used to having a camera on me full time, but it's going to be a little learning experience for me.
Well, I think one thing that's exciting and that I think is good for people who are going to be watching it, as you said, is going to be the good and the bad. So with a weekly episode, if you guys go hunting and the hunting is terrible that week, people are going to see that. And then, somebody who's new to hunting may realize that, okay, so these guys aren't just hammering birds every week. They had a bad week just like I did. Okay, I'm not a failure. I'm not doing something wrong. They're not going to get discouraged. They're going to see that everybody has bad days. And then they're going to be like, okay, even these guys who have hunted for how many years and that's what they do.
And the thing I wanted to point out, too, I want to stay, other than the Washington trip, I want to stay to public ground because, if you watch a lot of duck hunting shows, which they do a great job of that, but it's also a misconception to our young guys. They don't have the access of knowing who that farmer is. They don't have the access to pay that big money on that lease. So they're out there grinding every day. And so, they try to compete with the guy who has that. And you just can't on public ground. It's a different world. It's a different ball game. It's not only that you're competing for the ducks, you're competing for a spot, you're competing for something that's being hunted every day, where the private land guy, he can let it rest for 2 or 3 weeks, and he can go in there and he can bang them, or if it might be a spot where he can hunt it every 7 days and then go in there and shoot them up, So you can't base your success off of that. So we're going to highlight that on 365. We're going to stay public. Good, bad, or ugly, it's going to be on there.
So what do you find yourself yelling out the most? Is it the hide, or is it more jerk string, or is it move these decoys?
It's more, to me, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think you got all different kind of brand of decoys in there, and I don't think any one of those decoys in there are flare ducks. I'm just going to be honest with you. I feel like I felt like I've killed ducks over just about every name brand that you probably can imagine, or talk about. To me, concealment is a big thing to me. You got to be hid. You got to be not in front of the tree. You got to be behind the tree. A lot of guys forget about bird's eye view. They think standing right behind the tree and looking up at the sky, ducks are looking down. So, I notice a lot of guys, they brush everything up eye level. It's pretty as it can be. But when you look up or down into it, it's like you can see very well.
Yeah, black pit.
Yeah, so it's same thing to me is just being concealed. I think your dog has to be somewhat concealed. If it's not concealed, it's got to be a very disciplined dog of sitting still. I don't think a dog will flare a duck unless he's moving. So if you got a disciplined dog that can sit still, I think you're fine. But and the thing is when you get into big groups, you have to watch. Somebody's going to be on the front row. Somebody's wanting to look for that better shot. And so they're edging out a little bit further, and eventually they're visible. And sometimes, as a group, if you're hunting group, you have to say, okay, this will be my shot over here. I got to sacrifice this because I stay hidden, but, Billy's going to hunt here, and this is he's going to take care of that spot. And you might not get to shoot every time, but we're getting ducks down in, and everybody's having a good time. So sometimes as a group, you have to sacrifice your shooting lane for concealment.
The success of the hunt.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because if you're standing out in front, then you're running it for everybody, and it's not fun. You're sitting there, you worked hard, you got up, you fought for the hoe, you got the hoe, you set your decoys up, you've been out there all night, and if you're the guy that's sticking out in front of everything and you're the ones flaring the ducks, it's not fair for the rest. Even if it is your good buddies, it's not fair to them, So concealment to me is the biggest key to being a success.
Well, and I think concealment too, you start talking about camo patterns and the Realtree Timber for, I guess, last year, this year too. I traditionally like a darker pattern myself. I think they knocked it out of the park with a darker pattern here. And, of course, you guys travel all over the country. And how versatile has it been for you guys traveling?
It's very versatile. I think it's the best pattern on the market. I'm just not saying that because I'm with Realtree. I'm just telling you I've been a waterfowl guy for a very long time. And to have a pattern like that blends in with different areas and locations. It just helps, and I believe in camo. I know you got your guys that hunt in solids, and they talk about this and that, but when I look at the guys that hunt in solids, I'm also looking at a group of guys that's hunting mostly private land too. And like I said, when you're hunting Ivy League ducks, I want to have every advantage I can. I want my face painted. I get havoc on that. That's just my decision. I like my hands to be covered most of the time. I like wearing the best camo pattern, which I think is Realtree. There's no doubt about it. So when I want to have every avenue I can to have success, and being covered up is one of them.
Yep. We use our group a lot of times uses cork for face paint and stuff like that. We've stood out 100 yards from a field spread, and the only thing you can see is the guy's face.
Yeah.
And
you notice if you don't paint your face, if you'll notice right at sunlight when it comes up, people's face glow.
Oh, absolutely.
You see it. And if you don't think ducks can see that, you're crazy. And they'll see it. They'll pick it out really quick, and then they're gone. You're wondering, what did they see? Well, they just seen that flashlight. It's on your shoulders right there. You just flared them out.
And a lot of guys talk about keeping your head down and all that stuff, but you can't be perfect all the time.
I can't. I'm going to be honest with you, and that's another reason why I wear face paint. When I'm duck hunting, I like seeing the ducks fly. I like to see how they react to the duck call. So I'm one of those guys, I can't keep my head down. And he's another one. He can't keep his head down either. So it's just like we're going to have to do something with that beard, and we're going to spray paint it, and we're going to paint that face up when duck season comes around. So we can't have that white flashlight just sticking out.
I imagine you could talk to the guys at Realtree, and they could kind of color it up real nice for you.
Timber pattern.
Yeah, timber dip.
I think it'd be a nice timber pattern beard.
I would.
Either that, or I'm gonna have to hunt snow all year.
Yeah, you blend
What
in.
you gonna do if we hunt snow?
Oh, I think we might be in trouble. But concealment to me is the number one thing. I think duck calling. I mean, when to blow, not to blow. That's probably the second thing.
Not to, if you do your homework and you own the X and you know them birds have been there for a couple days, it's more when not to blow than to blow. The birds are coming.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many guys get carried away for whatever reason. And I'm the biggest caller of our group for sure. But even I know if they're coming, and it doesn't, you got to, there are days that you need to finish them. There are other days that they ain't finishing. So you just get them to look, and you shut it down, and it works. So, he says it all the time, like the decoy, not flaring birds deal. It's not the ducks looking for what's right. It's them trying to pick out something that's wrong. And that is certainly something that a guy could do wrong real quick, is overcall or call at the wrong time.
If you think about history, and you want to go back to the Arkansas days, back in the day, and you could go back to where these WMAs, where these guides could hunt on the WMAs. Once that hole was theirs, that was their hole for the season. Well, they left their decoys out year round. First day of season, they put them out. They didn't pick them up until the end of the season was over. Ducks came in there all the time. So that's a pretty indication that decoys ain't gonna flare your birds. So, and the thing too, on cloudy days like today, you got to be more concealed more than ever.
Yeah, you don't have any shadows to hide.
You won't have any shadows. There's nothing to hide. They pick you out like crazy, So, and just looking down on top of you, it's pretty easy to pick you out. So you have to be pretty smart about it.
Yeah, a lot of times we're hunting in marshes, and we don't have a lot of trees to hide behind or hide under. So a lot of times guys hunt out of A-frames, or if they're on dry fields, lay out blinds. But a lot of times A-frames and those type of, if you're shooting hog fence and T-posts, whatever it is, you get, like you said, the eye level perfect, but then you have this black pit right in there, right on top of you. And that's something I always try to focus in. I almost focus in on head cover before I focus in on what's in front of me. By the time they can see me, and if I have something over my head,
he gonna be dead.
Click.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times matter of fact, even last year we found a big group of ducks in a willow break, but the willow break was only like 7-8 foot tall, and the willows were only about 3 or 4 inches round, and they wasn't very tall.
The biggest ones.
Yeah, the biggest ones. But the deal is, we had a cloudy day the next day. I was like, there's no sense of hunting it because they're gonna pick us out. So we left it alone and was hoping we'd get a bluebird day. A bluebird day, you could go in that same hole and you would be able to stack them up, no problem. But on a cloudy day in that same scenario, you wouldn't pull the trigger. maybe real early, maybe right at shooting time, you probably get a few. But as it started getting a little bit lighter, they start picking you out because there's no shadows in there. They would pick you out. It'd be something different, and that's one of those things. That something is different right there, so I'm not going to be there. It's the confidence. They're not going to have the confidence to come in.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah.
Anything else you want to hit? I'm sitting here and I'm just excited for duck season now.
Oh man, me too. I just talking to you guys get me fired up. I could go in the morning. But we don't even have to take the gun.
I think you ought to go in the morning. No, I think you ought to get a gun in there and go in the morning.
No, I don't want to make GW mad.
No.
That's funny. I mean, I wouldn't mind going just to sit and call.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. And, the thing in Texas, we don't have ducks. I mean, we got a few that sit out there on the lake, a few locals. But you guys up here have access to the ducks. You get to see ducks pretty much year-round probably. So we don't get that.
I catch myself.
I envy you guys.
I play like a little hockey league after work sometimes, and I catch myself. There's some lake right by. I'm playing on an outside rink, and every time I'm playing, I see ducks flying right over my head.
Yeah.
And it's like ducks, and a group of Canadas.
How many cheap shots you take while you're on the rink doing this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, me and him have a mutual buddy that lives up in South Dakota, and he called.
He said they loaded up.
He said they're loaded up. And, to me, if I lived in South Dakota, I don't know. I don't know how you stay. I don't know if I could stay away from them. I just have to be out there all the time.
Well, I'd go watch them.
Yeah, I'd go
in
watch
my free
them.
time.
Absolutely. I couldn't stand it, But in Texas, like I said, you got a few that hang around the boat dock, bread eaters, but they're not
big old fat suckers.
Yeah,
too, boy.
they'll come.
You could probably run them down.
Yeah, they're what I call bread eaters. So
That's exactly because I love shooting them, but I love just watching them. They're so fun to watch, just swimming around and interacting. Whether it's just the edge of a little farm pond or whether it's big water, just watching them interact and do their thing.
And that's where you learn more doing that
Oh, yeah.
than anything else. People ask how you learn to call. Well, go sit on a roost and just listen to them holler back and forth at each other. You can hear when they get excited. You can see ducks flying, and you can hear how the other ones call at them, and like you're talking about,
learning
man.
tool there.
Yeah. It amazes me. You go, like you said, go to the roost, and then you got them circling around, and all of a sudden that hen, 2 or 3 hens just sound off at the same time, and they just pitch right in. It's just like they fly and they drop right in on the dime right there, just because those 3 or 4 hens in that group said it's time to get down. Yeah. And they just drop right in. So
Mama telling them
it's time to get down here. So it's you learn things like that. So like you said, we went out several evenings and watched them.
I want to go find some ducks right now just talking about it. Really, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to go find some.
Yeah.
I get fired up this time of year. This event, and last weekend really got it going for me, even though it's geese, but it's waterfowl in general. And watching other people get excited gets me excited.
I'm telling you, I just love the sport so much. I really do, and it gets me going. And it's the closest thing. I miss my high school days of playing football, and duck hunting is the closest thing you could ever get to it for me. I mean, when talking about it right now, I get goosebumps up my leg, my hair on the back of my neck stands up. I'm just ready to go. That's how fired up I get. I get fired up about it, and it's go time for me. There's nothing, the last couple of weeks, been making sure, going through the boats, making sure everything's charged up, ready to go, making sure all the lights work, making sure the trailers and all that stuff's registered, and making sure all the trailer lights work, just going through all the stuff, because the trailer lights ain't going to make it anyways. But we're going to start off everything working, but towards the end of the year, everything's going to be broke. Everything's going to be broke. But when we start off that first day of the season, everything's going to be working. But it might not make it through the first week. But we're going to start off working.
Trailer lights first to go.
I think the only
first little sheet of ice, and you got to back that boat up and sheet of ice. That's the first thing it breaks. Both tail lights, they gone. So
I think the only thing I've got in order right now is my gun. I cleaned it at the end of last season, and that was because I had to. It turned into a single shot, and so just because it was so gunked up, the recoil spring in my SBE2, just that inertia spring. But I got it all cleaned out. Other than that, everything I don't even know where it's all at. I got to find it.
My decoy shed right now is a nightmare. Like I multiple podcasts we talked about. I got decoy heads and random places, and we got a lot of Canada geese full bodies, and I got bases over here, bodies over here, heads over here. I got ducks outside of bags, all over the place. I need to go.
I couldn't imagine what y'all got to go through to clean up y'all's gear out of one of them trailers. You know, down there we pitching floaters with Texas rig all year. Yeah, we'll just spray them off or whatever, and we. But you pull out a trailer. How many decoys optimally? I mean, if you could tote as many as you want to tote or need to tote, how many decoys in a field spray you putting out?
I don't know.
8 plus dozen, 8 dozen or
and
more.
You're putting them in that mud.
Oh yeah, everything's muddy.
Everything's
layout
just
blinds are terrible. We go
covered
out,
in mud.
layout blinds covered in mud.
I drove around with what, 2.5 or 3 dozen full body geese in my truck, all duck season, because anytime we'd go put a field spread, we'd put some of those out, or sometimes we'd go chase Canadas if they were in, and you know, I'd kept full body. I mean, my back seat's crammed full, can't take anybody anywhere. My truck bed's full, but I don't care.
But you ready to hunt?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm not going to be the guy that somebody says, you know, hey, we're going to go hunting tomorrow. Can you go? My gear's in my truck. I'm there.
Yeah, that's me too. I can be packed, ready. I mean, everything's ready. I can be. If he calls me and says, Dennis, I'm on the ducks, I can be out my door in 5 minutes, on the road, gone. I mean, I stay ready. I stay on go.
When it's duck season for us, my truck it doesn't change. I don't take the decoys out of it, you know, and they just stay in there, and it's just every day. It's like we're usually hunting every day, or you know, and the weekends and stuff. So
the only thing that goes in and out of my truck, is the gun. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it for me, because you don't somebody break your windshield or whatever, side glass, whatever, get your gun and takes off, you know. But that's about it. Anything else can be pretty much replaceable.
That's exactly right. So any other thing you want to talk about? We're rolling up on an hour here. I hate to keep these guys longer. Everybody's hungry. They've been on a plane.
Yeah.
No.
We just happy to be here, baby.
Yeah, Realtree Timber, brand new this year, opened it up to all sorts of different. I mean, we got Drake and Banded. That stuff looks great.
We've got it on our waders.
Yeah,
our Rogers waders.
We have
this
Rogers
year.
waders with Realtree Timber. Check them out. They're sweet.
Well, guys, I can't thank y'all enough for having us up. This is our second year being here. Last year we had a great time. We loved the duck calling contest and meeting all the new people. This year I'm looking forward to it again, and I can't thank both of you enough for having us back out.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we're happy to be able to kick off season 2 of the podcast with you.
Yes,
guys.
First time right here.
Yeah,
we started off today.
Yeah. Awesome. That's good. So,
all right, guys.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. And likewise from us to you. We're happy you guys are here. We're excited you're here. Thank you for doing the podcast with us. We appreciate it. So, you know what? It's awesome. I'm ready to get out there and get some birds on the water, get the call going, get the shell going.
Have something to say to the teal coming up here in about a month or so.
Yeah. Love the smell of gunpowder in the morning, as people say. So,
That's it.
Aaron Chandler, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank y'all.